Genshin Impact, a game I've been playing for a while now, has had its anniversary recently, and it was beautiful. The community was outraged by just how lackluster the anniversary rewards were. However, the real problem is not just in the anniversary rewards themselves, it's actually a lot more about this.
If you're not willing to communicate, then the problem just sits there. If you just keep staring at it without doing anything, eventually you'll watch every last opportunity to resolve it slip away before your eyes.
To sum it up, people mad. Genshin is getting review bombed everywhere, other games are getting review bombed because of Genshin, and pretty much all the popular communities were on lockdowns with some heavy censorship. It might seem like the outrage is purely based on the 10 fates people are getting, or lack of a 5-star character, but really it's much more about the complete radio silence on MiHoYo's part about any of their anniversary plans. And we obviously have to give some credit for mentally preparing the community beforehand. Some people, especially within MiHoYo's marketing team, might make it the argument that we can't have foreseen this reaction, and that they weren't doing anything wrong. And this is where this video comes in to tell you in exact details what they did wrong. And their main problem is having completely ignored their own community. When it comes to game development, you don't fucking bite the hand that feeds you. Your player base is pretty much everything that your game is gonna hold on. Those who don't study history are also doomed to repeat those same mistakes over and over again, so before diving deeper into Genshin, let's look at 2 more historical cases. The year is 2012, Dota 2 is the up-and-coming F2P titan on the market. It's Halloween time and Valve does something surprising, very much out of the blue. They create an event called Dietide, a minigame to celebrate Halloween and give out some free hats to the winners. It's silly, it's broken as shit, but it's completely unexpected, unique, and actually hella fun. Needless to say, it's very well received. 1 year passes, it's Halloween time again. People are expecting Dietide. Surely they haven't forgotten. Surely there is a new patch coming any day now to implement Dietide. Surely there will still be Dietide, even though Valve said nothing about it. People kept asking about it everywhere, and literally everyone. And in turn, complete radio silence. Sounds familiar, right? Well, let's see how this panned out for Volvo.
Is this Volvo dealership in theater?
Yes, it is.
Volvo. Can I call my car Dietide? Can Volvo give me Dietide?
We'll be there Dietide. Not this year. Brace yourself. I think your number just got out. Punch Volvo for Dietide. Give Dietide.
Okay, Volvo, why do you do this to us?
Well, how did Valve respond to this? Well, radio silence was maintained for a short while in hopes that the community would stop rioting, but in the end Valve had to give up eventually. They made a public apology acknowledging their shortcomings and actually implemented Dietide. This time even more broken than previously, as apparently there were some issues with re-implementing code, or some of it was lost, or whatever of that sort. Mind that, at that point Valve is already the biggest digital software distributor around and a highly prominent game dev with actually great reputation at the time. And the community still managed to bully them into acknowledging the problems and actually fixing them. Also, Valve started communicating much better afterwards, at least in my opinion.
Thank you for fixing my Doto. My Volvo car Doto. Thank you for fixing.
But some of you might say that Valve is not actually a big gaming company as of late, and I would advise you to get your head out of your ass, as Valve has produced and maintained for a very long time both Dota 2 and CSGO as 2 of the biggest F2P games out there. But let's use this thought and look at another example. No other company in the industry is as big as Nintendo, and Nintendo's battles against their own communities should really be documented as some of the worst business practices out there in existence. The years are now 2013 and 2014. Nintendo has just released the Wii U and their spree of terrible marketing decisions is just starting at this point. It looks weird, it has no current interesting or upcoming games, and it's losing them money. Well, how do we profit when our shit console isn't selling properly? It's simple, boys, we take the money from our content creators. Nintendo has literally started copyright claiming YouTube videos featuring their games, and technically YouTube was not ready for it. I mean, it is kinda correct. The video features a game copyrighted by Nintendo, so it's kinda okay to give them full rights and revenue to the video in question. So YouTube had no valid objections, I mean it's their game, their content. So big content creators very swiftly made their comments on the issue. Essentially, why the fuck would any of them make content just to give Nintendo money? For a while, Nintendo tried to downplay the problem. Like, you know, it wouldn't be too big an issue, and it's really how it's supposed to work, you know? I mean, it's our game, fuck you. Then, people started actively deleting their YouTube videos featuring Nintendo games, and major content creators quit making videos about Nintendo games altogether. Now, you aren't losing money just from a shitty console with no games. You're now also losing your reputation in the eyes of your own community, and the cherry on top is that you're losing even more money because popular YouTubers are not playing your games. Thus less publicity, thus fewer sales. All of this made Nintendo back off just a little, like, we'd still love your money, but you know, we'd maybe take less of it so you can still make content for us. And thus, Nintendo's creators program on YouTube was born. We wouldn't take 100% of your revenue, just, you know, 30% of it. And it lasted all the way from 2015 to 2018 when it was eventually closed down. No real reason was stated as to why, but we can make a very simple assumption. It was losing them a lot more money in sales than they were actually gaining through YouTube. Moral of the story? Good publicity is better than no publicity is better than bad publicity. So let's finally get to MiHoYo and Genshin Impact. Many people would argue that MiHoYo is too big a company to give a shit about Genshin and it's too popular a game at this point. But history is telling us otherwise. Valve and Nintendo are both some of the biggest players in the game dev field, and both of them have to back down under community pressure and actually care about what their fanbase wants. Game devs care a lot about sales and also potential sales. No matter how hard a company can try to resist, the community's pressure will always work if it results in substantial revenue losses for the developers. Step 1. Piling up issues. MiHoYo seems to do a very good job of collecting important data. They're definitely not delusional. The web event from the Anniversary showed us just how much data they're actually collecting, and behind closed doors there's definitely some advanced analysis going on. They're also fully aware of the issues present within the game, but being aware of something is not enough. You've gotta fix the issues or they keep piling up. Xinyan's shield is broken for a year now, and she's also not involved in any of the story or hangouts. That isolates all the people who main Xinyan or like her. People will voice their concerns, remain ignored, and it'll not cause too much resonance. Child mains would like him to get a plunging attack, and they've been requesting it for a while too. People kept requesting Keqing buff, people request Albedo's hair buff, people keep requesting Yoimiya buff, Mona and Ayaya dash fixes, and so on and so forth. Minor parts of the community keep making requests from MiHoYo on an individual basis. Alone, they are unable to accomplish much, as MiHoYo can simply ignore them for a while and pretend like they're fixing something the community is actually asking for. Problem being, it doesn't work when the community is far too big, like say with Zhongli buffs. When the outrage is way too big, the company cannot do anything but actually comply with it. Unfortunately, by ignoring the issues, MiHoYo creates ripe soil for rioting. For instance, when thousands of players feel like they haven't been consistently heard, it only takes one simple idea that will unite all of them. Like, say for example, the Anniversary. Step 2. Anniversary radio silence. Well, how exactly do we deal with this issue? What issue? No issue! Game great! Players love! You see, when you've got a large player base reporting issues to you, it's important that you have a dedicated platform. Players can come to this platform, say MiHoYo bad, and MiHoYo will actually acknowledge the problem. This is a fantastic thing called feedback. When players know that they've been heard, they get relieved. When they aren't heard, people get mad. Genshin has a subreddit, has Discord, has their own HoYoLab platform as well as a Twitter account, and obviously there's like App Store and Google Store pages. So what happened when the community tried asking around? Nothing. All of these platforms either ignored the community or introduced censorship. What happens when you ignore concerned people? People mad. As a big game dev company, especially one that relies on F2P content, it's essential that you get good community managers, cause you don't fucking bite the hand that feeds you. You don't ignore your community as the community will be mad, and this is loss of sales. Step 3. Do our marketing for us. But standing on just one foot wasn't enough for the marketing team. The brightest men and women of China gathered around and declared something very important. I don't want to do my fucking job, let's have the people do it for us. Brilliant! And thus, the Anniversary Web Event contest rewards were born. MiHoYo just provided lousy in-game rewards and ignored its own community. Now they were officially going full retard mode. And that's right. Cause if you're doing dumb shit, you don't backtrack, you just keep on going. All you had to do was publicly advertise Genshin via art, videos or cosplays. And to add the cherry on top of it all, you weren't guaranteed anything. Yep, exactly. The rewards were random, and they were bad. I mean bad. Like imagine spending $500 to make a cosplay and getting less than 2 days worth of playing as a reward bad. The announcement for these events got ratioed on their own platform. It's beautiful. And they even deleted one of the comments that ratioed them to. Yikes. Step 4. Damage control. First of all, let's look at a good example of dealing with this. Valve publicly acknowledged their own shortcomings, apologized, listened to what the community actually wanted, and fixed things. They've also adopted the policy of communicating more with the player base. Sadly, they didn't learn too much about what the people would actually want. But it was still a pretty good step forward. For MiHoYo, the consequences of their mistakes started piling up. All the platforms started suffering. Twitter, people mad, replies get deleted. Subreddit, people mad, under heavy moderation for anniversary posts. HoYoLab, people mad, comments and posts about anniversary get deleted. Discord, GG fallen, posts get nuked, slow mode is being implemented just so the people would stop spamming chi-chis. App Store, Genshin is getting review bombed, the ratings are falling and MiHoYo is actively working with Google to remove bot reviews. Bot reviews, as in ones left by actual people. Now with heavy media censorship, MiHoYo was ready to release the thing, to pretend like nothing ever happened. Except, well, to get more damage control going, they had to give players an additional 10 whole wishes alongside some random stuff. And the people rejoiced. Well, no they didn't. The community outrage on the forums has gone down as people tend to let go of stuff quite easily these days. App Store reviews are slowly getting deleted and the ratings are gradually climbing back up for Genshin. Despite all of this, September has been Genshin's biggest month in terms of revenue, and there are two main reasons for it. One is Raiden Shogun, which the players were saving up for, and the second is the top-up bonus reset, which made a lot of players purchase crystals. Also, a lot of people were actually investing in the game expecting some very good anniversary rewards. The aftermath. Right now, it's impossible to tell exactly how much revenue MiHoYo is going to lose due to this outrage. September was their most successful month, and we're bound to see some revenue drops for the near future. And it's not just because of the anniversary. People have spent money on Raiden, so they are less inclined to spend more right away. A season of character reruns is coming, so a lot of people, and whales especially, aren't going to spend as much on them. Some people were indeed outraged to a point where they would stop buying Welkin or say Battle Pass. And most importantly, general burnout from the game as people tend to come and go eventually. and with more filler patches, we're gonna have more players experiencing burnout soon. Most importantly, how does the community influence game devs? The community is the key pillar on which the gaming industry holds. If there is no one to play your game, you're not going to succeed. If you're left without revenue, your company will simply go bankrupt. As I said previously, there is a very good way of influencing game developers. If something hurts their actual or potential revenues, the companies will avoid it like wildfire. If you think MiHoYo doesn't understand this, you're delusional. And they definitely aren't delusional. How can we tell that some people in the marketing and community management are going to lose their jobs? It's simple, look at the fucking Elon Musk stunts they performed recently. You have to be pretty fucking desperate to try and leech off a meme billionaire's popularity. And they also know a few important things. That their revenues were dropping, that reruns are not going to be as profitable, and that people were getting burnt out, and that their own anniversary failures will also come to bite them. Also, filler patches that people don't care about as much will definitely hurt sales. Did they fix the anniversary situation? Not at all, actually. Have they learned anything? Well, only time will tell, and we'll know for sure next year. I expect them to lose out on revenue, so we'll likely be getting more free stuff coming in the future. And remember, community, if you want to bully MiHoYo into giving you a 5-star, you can actually easily do it by refusing to pay money for the game, and there's nothing they can do about it.